I'm just gonna make another branch so you get the idea, and then we'll move on to the alpha planes. So for example, I want to make a smaller branch like this one. So again, let's go here, go to the line, select it. This time I'll need only 4 sides because it's a smaller branch. And again, just click. Oh, yeah, we should decrease the thickness. Something like 25 should be enough. So just click, drag, click and drag again, or just click and hold again to make this smooth transition. Alright, so now this branch is ready. So I'm just gonna again click under the modify tab on the line, the vertex, and I'm just gonna move them around a bit. So yeah, basically the principle is that after you make 3 or 4 branches that look good, you can later very easily mirror them with this button, and you can create copies of them, and this way with only 3 or 4 branches you can create the whole tree. Okay, so this one I guess I'll just yeah. Okay. So to isolate this object, just right click and just click hide unselected. Now again, we don't need this face here, just delete it. This time we can scale down the upper part of the branch before we make the UV mapping. Just quickly do something like this. Alright, so now I'm gonna again select the whole subobject, submesh, and I'm gonna assign one smoothing group. Then I'll go into the material editor and I'm gonna drop again our material onto the branch, and I will unwrap. Okay, let me just see what will happen if I just try the already existing mapping, because maybe it could work now. I'm just gonna click relax. Yeah, you see that now it creates some problems. If you continue to just click this button, it will eventually straighten up. Okay, so now this should do the work. And again, the previous UVs were somewhere in this area, so I'm gonna just put this one here so it doesn't overlap. And I'm just gonna collapse the modifier. Now let's continue to the alpha branches. Now what I like to do in the beginning of each tree is that I like to make a plane with some subdivisions. For example, this is a 6 by 6, and I just apply the material. So in order to see this material again, you should go here and just click this option again, show shaded material in viewport. Alright, now sometimes 3D Max creates these really glossy materials, so if you get this effect, just go here on the specular level and glossiness and just get them to 0, so you're able to see clearly. And don't worry if you still see the background here, and if it's not transparent in CryEngine it won't look this way. So what I like to do is just by already having some subdivisions on the plane, I can really easy just by selecting cut and going into the vertex mode. Just cutting up along the different branches, the planes that I need to use to form the canopy of the tree. Alright, so yeah, again, just try and optimize as much as possible the separate planes, because you're gonna put a lot of these planes on the tree and the poly count could really get huge. So yeah, again, just click preserve UVs and then you can safely move the vertices around this plane. So what I like to do is generally I just select all these parts and with shift and drag, oh I'm sorry, this happens if you leave this option on, preserve UVs. You should uncheck it and just click shift and drag, and I'm gonna clone it to object. Yeah, uncheck the polygon mode so you can select this object now, and you see that its pivot now it's here at the center of the plane. So the easiest way to fix that is just by going here in this icon, just click effect pivot and click center to object. Okay, so now let's take a look. Most of the branches that I create for the trees, I'm trying to not have any spare vertices on it to save poly count. So for example, I don't need this one, and I'm pretty sure that I can collapse this one without losing too much mesh topology. Just make sure that the geometry of the plane follows exactly the alpha texture. And now that we have this branch, what I like to do is, okay, I'm just gonna make a copy of it, just in case I want to preserve the original. And usually what I like to do is just to assign a twist or bend modifier and just play around with the axis to quickly get some interesting variations in the branches. Yep, something like that. And later you can always mirror this branch by going here and clicking this icon. And if you want to create a copy, just set the clone selection from no clone to copy. And a very important thing to remember now that it creates the copy, its normals will be flipped. So what you need to do, and if you don't fix that, you have a lot of troubles later inside CryEngine. So you need to do two things. Always, when you mirror any mesh inside 3ds Max, later you should go here on the utilities, go here on reset X-form and click reset select. And then select the whole object and just go here and click this flip button. Yeah, so now its normals should be okay. So what I like to do when I make all these alphas, and again I cut around and I made all these branches, and I just move them around a bit, for example like this dry branch. You see that again it's a simple geometry, and I just put some tree segments so I can move and twist it around a bit. So basically, when you have all these planes, I'm gonna just collapse this one really quickly. I'm just gonna show you how I prepared the other one. So I'm just going to Yeah, I'm going to detach this part of the plane too. Again, I'm going to select it, center the pivot, and here, in case that you have to readjust or you cut some parts with the alpha, and you have this end of the mesh just cutting through the alpha texture, you should just click again here, preserve UVs, and just drag again the geometry until it aligns with the alpha texture. So now it's a good idea to, if you have a branch like this, it's a good idea to cut the plane so this way, so you can very easily for example just select each side and press it downwards or upwards, and that could create very interesting branch modules later on. So for example, now if I go and select the other branch, and I'm just gonna make a copy, you can just combine them together. Yeah, just try to get the right direction of the branch, so, and try to snap them this way so that they're this branch here, it's positioned perfectly so it matches the other branch. It shouldn't go outside of the other branch, because it would look not very good if the player can come and see it up close. Okay, so just by making modules like this, you can later very easily just duplicate, mirror them, rotate them, and attach them to smaller branches. So in the test scene that I'm going to give you with these tutorials, you can find these modules, and you can see that it's a very well polyed branch with geometry, and on it I just attached some planes with the alpha leaves, and I just try to rotate and place them that way, so from each angle when you rotate you have some plane facing you, so you have these cool looking leaves everywhere. It creates a nice illusion for a volume of the tree canopy. And later you can just start, when you create 2 or 3 modules like this one, you can very easily just go and start placing them around the 2 or 3 main trunks that you're going to create for the tree. So yeah, as you can see, in a matter of minutes you can create pretty decent looking tree. You just need to be a little bit patient and really just make sure that every branch goes inside the geometry of the trunk, and for example it's not sticking around like that, because later that would really it's much more difficult later when you attached all the geometry to just go and manually select this branch with these leaves attached to it. It would be very difficult when you have like 60 other branches surrounding it, so just try to get it right the first time. So yeah, again, just by rotating and selecting you can get some really cool looking tree. Just try to place and rotate them this way so that the player cannot get the repetition. Try to avoid any too visible patterns when you place the branches. Just play around with the scale, the rotation. You can even like mirror the whole branch. Then of course you should always press reset X-form, select everything and just press flip just to make sure that it will work properly inside the engine. And just continue placing them like that till you finally get something like this. So now the leaves that we did, the new leaves, are not 100% matching this one. So if I apply the new material, it could look a little bit weird, but anyway, I'm just gonna make a copy of this tree and we're gonna export it again as a separate tree, because I'm really curious to see how the new texture looks like. Okay, so now this one should be a tree tutorial. Okay, so now what we need to do, just let me first name this scene differently so it doesn't overwrite the existing one. Okay, so now what we need to do is just to select everything and apply our new material that we created in this lesson on the tree. Okay, so now you see that the texture updates. And now what it's left to do, it's just first click on the material, our new material, go again in the utilities, under the CryEngine exporter settings, and just press create material. Okay, so then just select the dummy, add the dummy here in the geometry export window and just press export nodes. Alright, so now if you go here on the lower bar, click on objects, click reload, so we make sure that our tree is inside. Alright, so here is our tree. And now if we apply the material, you'll see that it's not transparent. So how do we fix that? First we're gonna start with the bark, and usually it's a good idea for the bark to not have to not be really glossy. So the easiest way to fix that is just by going here and set the Fresnel bias and scale almost to 0. So that way it will look a lot more natural and organic. And now the most important part of this video, it's how to really set up your alpha so it shows as alpha. Just go here on the material that we created, and the first thing that you need to do, it's from the shader, the default shader is the illumination shader. So what you need to do is just go and set it to vegetation. On surface type you should change it again to vegetation, and now here you have under the opacity settings this slider alpha test, and you should just increase it. Something like 30 or 40, it's good, because a really high value of this will eat up a lot of alphas on the texture and sometimes it will look weird. So it's something between 30 or 45, it's I think best. So yeah, now what's left to do is just to decrease the Fresnel bias, and from here you can see that you have these options for bending branch amplitude, edges amplitude, and detail bending. So what that means, these options you can get only by setting the shader to vegetation. So now the tree is not moving. To get it to move, I showed you in the previous videos, but I'm gonna quickly show it to you again. So now I'm just gonna go here under the terrain tab, click on vegetation, click on add vegetation object, and I'm gonna select our tree, select it here from the list, and now I'm just gonna set some basic values just so it looks good. And what you need to do, it's you should set the bending to 1 or 2. I'm gonna set it to 2. Very important thing that you should check, it's cast shadows. From never you should check it, set it to at least medium or high. And under the material, just select this swatch here, and with your main tree tutorial material selected, just press this button. And what it's left to do is just to click paint objects, and now when I paint the tree, it should move by the wind. Okay, so now it moves, but not by much. So how we can fix that? We can always go here and play around with these options. So if you increase the bending branch amplitude, and increase the bending, for example, if you set it to like 4, now you see that this tree moves a lot more natural. And something that we need to do, it's probably just darken up a bit the color of the leaves. So yeah, there you go. Now this tree doesn't have much dense canopy, but that's because we didn't just have a lot of time to make it in this tutorial. But yeah, if you just spend some more time and add more planes with alpha, you can get more dense looking canopy like on this one. Alright, so one last thing that I want to add, it's that you can always go and make a specular mask for the diffuse map. Let me just open this texture. So the way now you see the specular mask that is looking really strange here, but I did it this way so that I painted with a small brush bright spots only in the middle of each leaf. So this way it creates a really nice effect when you, for example here, I'm gonna set the camera to be even more small so you can see what I'm talking about. So see these highlights here, when you move around you can really see that this specular mask gives a lot of volume and detail to your vegetation. So yeah, it's really simple. You can just paint much more better, of course, than this one, much more detailed. You can paint a lot better specular mask with some little highlights in the middle of each leaf, so it could look really nice. So basically that's it. I really hope that this series of tutorials could help you in the creation of your own levels and your own props. I wish you a good luck with your personal projects, and yeah, I really hope that you found some useful tips and tricks that really are going to speed up your creation process inside CryEngine. So, okay, goodbye and good luck.